Exactly. Welcome to another episode of a gaming podcast, episode 31. I'm so happy April Fool's Day is done. We don't have to deal with all that madness. We are going to recap some of that. But Sammy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I've been, as we were kind of like discussing before we were recording, playing a little bit of Stardew Valley, a little bit of V Rising. It's just a little bit of everything. Yeah. Including Divinity Sin 2.
I was about to ask, what happened to that game?
Literally just always assume I'm playing it for the next 2 years.
All
yeah.
Right. Sounds about right. Steve, how about yourself? Steve Sailor.
I
forgot.
Yeah,
Sorry.
which one?
I'm doing okay. I'm tired. I'm ready for my show to get out the door. It starts tomorrow, or actually, when does this go up?
Wednesday.
It'll go up tomormo.
Wednesday.
So
So it'll be tonight. Yeah, it's tonight. It will launch at 7 p.m. Eastern. So
there you go.
I'm just like we were just talking about before the show, but I was like, I've taken like basically a month to just work solely on this. I haven't streamed. I've barely made any videos other than my own podcast stuff. And I'm ready for this to go out the door. I love the show so much, but I'm like, I just need to get out the door so I can actually, build up a workflow of like, okay, now let's figure out how to be able to fit it into my schedule. So I'm not just taking up all my time.
Awesome. And then Steve V, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little sleepy after the long weekend. That really did a number on my sleep schedule, getting back into it. But man, I'm really glad April Fool's Day is over, because that was a nightmare to get through.
I agree. I think the sleepiness also to do with the weather. It's really like this cold for no reason today. So
it's cold and warm another day, and then I couldn't sleep one of the days because it was so warm in my apartment. I was like,
wake up sweating.
I was like, I'm not about this life. I'm not about this life.
That is the best thing. Waking up.
What?
Waking up sweaty?
Okay, so no matter what time of the year it is, like seasonally, weather-wise, anytime I go to a hotel, in my house, I always have the heat turned up to 22.
What is that?
Why?
That's like 70, 73, 74?
That's not bad.
Are you Canadian?
I can't, but like my thermostat has always been Fahrenheit.
It's same. It's 71. Apparently 22 is 71 degrees.
Yeah, so I always have it on that. Like sometimes when I go to hotels, I'll turn it up to a little bit of a 26 kind of thing. Because I
do that too. Because some hotels,
I love sweating in my sleep.
Well, I don't know about the sweating. I don't say I like to sweat.
No?
I just like a warm room because sometimes some rooms have just been abandoned for so long and they're so cold that you have to like kind of warm it up a little bit. But like
warm it up with the
optimal is cold room, big blanket.
Yes.
I was gonna ask, are you putting on a blanket?
Blankets.
That's what I asked. That. Oh.
I mean, that's why
and a space
I
heater.
did a whole cocoon. I tucked my
like a little cinnamon roll. Exactly. You got to cinnamon roll it up.
The heat.
Yeah, but why do you like it till the point of sweat?
I just feel like obviously when I'm going to sleep, I'm not sweating, but I do sweat throughout my sleep, and it just feels like I had a good rest, like.
But then don't you wake up and you're like, well, now I gotta clean my sheets every night.
Well, no, I'm not sweating that much where the sheets are like drenched. It's just like so I sleep.
I feel like this is falling apart at the seams here.
What did you learn on your trip? Did you learn something new? Like what's going on here?
I'm sweating in my pajamas. You change that every day.
Sure.
And you shower.
Yeah, but sometimes that sweat kind of like seeps through.
You can't control that, Camille.
You change your pillow like maybe every other day, like the pillowcase, but
wait, what?
No,
every week whenever I wash my sheets.
Yes, thank you, Steve. You're a rational human being.
You still do the sheets every week, but your pillowcase, that's where like I drool. So that's where the drool's going. That's where the hair product's sitting. I don't want
you just flip the overside.
Yes, thank you.
Did you ever experience the cold side of the pillow? That's where it comes from. Flipping the pillow over.
No, because she just sweats through it. It's hot side of the pillow, hot side of the pillow. It's just two sides of the.
No, I see. I have like my bed. My bed, the vent in my apartment from like where my AC and my heating comes through is like right above my head, and I purposely put my bed, it's positioned it right there so that way whenever the AC comes on, it's just a nice cool breeze just kind of coming around. Like it is.
You could sleep with air conditioning like blowing on you.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think I wear hoodies in the summer? Because I keep my apartment at like a steady 72.
No,
like fan, I can't. Like
no
if
fan.
you
No,
put the
exactly.
fan on,
Fan is just like you're just blowing the whatever hot air or cold air, whatever's in the room.
Yeah,
I get
What do you mean you get sick?
I get like a little
you
throat
get like
cold.
a little throat, nasal,
if you're sleeping with it like just facing you, can't do that. It's always like slightly off to the side.
Yeah, but like the thing is like the AC's not on all the time.
Blast.
It's
It's just
Steve's like, what's going on here?
Steve, I can confirm anytime I slept with a fan, I do get like a throat like cold. Like I get
it's
something.
like congestion.
It's a dry throat. It's not.
No.
It's
I actually get sick. I get sick.
Like, you feel
I
like
don't.
you're-
What is happening?
Maybe
I don't understand how this is.
I have to point out that
I'm happy
like,
to
there's
say maybe it's a Caribbean thing. Maybe it's a
I
Caribbean
guess
thing.
it's like
Maybe
the
it's a
brown
Caribbean
people
thing because
here.
I get sick. I'm letting you know.
This could be. They have bring up a good point.
I'm just letting you know. I get
The
sick.
different genes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe it's a different.
Maybe it's the genes.
I just
Yeah.
we need to put this section alone on the internet because we need other people to chime in.
I
Do you
do.
get sick
Set
with
a
the
poll
fan?
right now.
No.
People
That's the
are you
least of my concerns.
Are you team
That's the
fan?
least of my concerns. I
Team
need to know
fan, no
about
fan.
sweating at sleep.
The sweating part, I don't agree
Purposefully,
with. Yeah.
That's
Because if
Also,
I'm
it's
sweating in my sleep, I feel like I had a bad night. Because that reminds me of like when I'm sick and like
Yes.
I have like a fever. Like I'm sweating and my fever out.
That's fair.
Like that's the feeling I
I'm
get whenever I
fighting
sweat
for
in
my
bed.
life.
That's
Yes.
fair. But I
That's my
also
life
like
at that point.
sweating a fever out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
of
Like,
course.
honestly, if it gets too hot.
Yeah.
So why not bring that energy?
Because I don't have a fever and I'm trying to be cozy in my bed.
Maybe it's the fever of the world. You're carrying the world's burdens on your shoulder, and you just need to sweat it away, huh?
I think you need a water bed at this point. I think that's like what's going.
Maybe.
Like, what's happening here?
She's just existing in doom. Like, she's like every molecule of water, she's just reabsorbing. She's sustaining herself.
Okay. Last
Timothy
one.
Chalamet.
Last one. Throughout the year, do you guys sleep with a blanket or like two at least? Like a sheet
I sleep with a blanket.
sheet and a
Like
comforter,
sheet and a comforter. Yeah.
Yeah.
throughout the year, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Other than like hot
Whoa,
days, and then I take the. Other than hot days, and I take the duvet off. Yeah.
I don't really. Yeah, sometimes I sleep like underneath the like just the plain bed
just the
sheet if it
sheet.
gets too hot.
But you still need something covering you.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, the ghost will get you.
Yeah, exactly.
Those
True.
are weirdos.
Right?
People that don't do
Although
that.
it is
are
weird,
weirdos.
sometimes
the
I'll
cats.
find myself that apparently it gets in the middle of the night. I'll just flip the covers off, and then I'm just because I sleep in my boxers, so that's basically and I'm just
Whatever
like,
happens in the middle of the night happens in the middle of the night. But when you go to bed,
no, when I go to
something.
bed, it's like I'm under the covers.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
okay. All right. We're on the same page. That's all that matters.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
Don't
We're
try to-
not on the same
Don't
page.
sweep this under the rug. We are
Yeah.
not on the same page.
If I am not bundled up in like a warm cuddling like of the blanket and like while it's like nice and cool in my apartment, I can't sleep at all. Like I legit need it to be
not
at
nice
least
and
cool.
but yeah.
Now I need to know how many pillows does everyone sleep in? Because like for me, I'm like at least 5.
But just one.
I
Size
surround
you?
Is there
myself.
enough bed left? Like what's going on here?
Barely.
What the?
Like when it's me and Corbin, I will like be like, no, my
Does
pillow's
Corbin
not
even
here.
Corbin, get
the
off.
bed at all, or is he like a
Get
little
off,
sliver?
Corbin. It's not
Luckily,
enough
he's-
pillow.
Luckily, he's a tall and skinny guy, so we all fit.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Have you ever caught where he fell off on the bed at any point?
And he just
So,
lies
like-
on the pillows.
I
He
mean-
just
Like
takes
we
the
both
other-
have full beds, so it's like there's not that much room, and like if one of us
Well,
is
we can see the
constantly
bed
in
right
danger
there.
of falling
Like it's
off.
like
Yeah.
is that the bed?
It's,
Like
that's the bed. Like
Do you
it's
make
not,
a fort? Like what's going on? You put like a pillow wall?
I'll have like the king size pillow that I kind of like hug. Then I have like one for my legs. Then I'll have like one or two for my arms. And then I
So
like the
Yeah,
behind me too. I don't know.
So what
I just
you're
like being
telling me,
surrounded.
it's what you're saying is when you sleep, it's like a battlefield. You protect yourself, and pretty much your partner is left to defend himself
We go back and forth. Sometimes I almost fall off. Sometimes he almost falls off.
Okay.
We're gonna have at least a queen size bed when we have a house, so it'll be fine.
I used to be able to sleep like literally like it's either one or two pillows. Like I used to have like basically like where I would sleep with like two pillows underneath my head, just to kind of like prop up my neck a little bit better because I know I snore, and I used to think that can kind of help, and it does sort of when I'm sleeping on my side. But I found that it's like my neck just kind of does like it just hurts in the morning, like it just kind of feels like a stretch. So I just went back to just the straight, like just regular size pillow, just one pillow, and then that's it.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
I also have like various, like I have an extra hard, I have like an extra soft, I have like every kind of like firmness of pillow too.
I thought about doing that at one point, but then I was just like, I just found one that was just kind of like, I found one that was just nice.
Goldilocks of pillows over there.
Yeah. Corbin's not gonna have any room in that bed. I'm not right now. Just get another bed.
Although I will say that I do invest in my pillow. Like I don't buy the cheap pillows. It's a nice pillow. It's a little bit expensive, but it's like that's why it's like a little kind of like that perfect Goldilocks sort of not too hard, not too soft kind of deal. Because I find that hotels. This may be like because we travel a lot.
Yeah.
So the pillows in hotels suck ass.
They're awful.
Like they're like so
like
thin and soft. Like it just I need like 4 or 5 of them just to be able to like even just have a proper like head resting on my pillow.
Especially are you a side sleeper? Because you can't you have to have at least.
And also, what do you do with your hand? Like, okay, this is something I'm dealing with right now. So before I went away. That's so sounds.
This is why you're not.
Let me finish.
This is why you're not sleeping anymore. Just up playing Stardew at 6 a.m.
I'm contemplating my sleep, and that's why I've been playing Stardew till 6 a.m. in the morning, pretty much every night, especially throughout this long weekend. But before I was in Brazil, I very seriously injured my back. I had to do extensive chiropractor and physio, and my chiropractor was saying like, what's the best pillow? What's the best positioning? Putting a pillow between your thighs is really good when you sleep. But now I'm left with the question, what do I do with my hand that's like under?
So
do you extend it out? Do you tuck it in?
This arm's always in pain for me because I sleep like this, constant. Oh,
you do that?
Pain.
Okay.
But that's just how I sleep.
So whenever I'm like, usually it's like, it depends on, which like side I'm sleeping on, but it'll always be like, okay, so if I'm sleeping like this, basically my right arm is kind of like just propped up underneath the pillow on the side and just kind of like bent like that. And then my other arm is extended just like kind of on my body. Like, and then
you and me, we're the same sleepers, Steve.
Although one time, like, because sometimes I'll take like a nap like during the day, and I'll just like I don't even bother like with sleeping on like underneath blankets because I just sleep on top of the bed. And there have been times where I legit would be like I'm sleeping like this with my hands like this. I don't know why. I've
done that. Like
the whole like coffin pose, like it's just legs crossed. But when I'm regularly sleeping throughout the night, it's side, arm extend, and then that's it.
Marcel, do you do the same?
I just fall asleep. I don't know.
See, I can't do I can't do that because then when I'm holding my Switch playing Stardew, and then like I reach to like plug in my Switch, and then like plug in my phone, and I put it to the side, so I fall asleep like this, and it's very awkward. I hurt myself.
How are you even holding your Switch if your hands are so sweaty?
They're not. Maybe
that's what makes her sweaty. The ventilation is just blowing on
her all the time and everything.
Well, you know what? Welcome to a sleeping podcast.
If you haven't figured out yet, can we even introduce Camille? That's Camille's back, everyone. If you haven't realized, Camille's back. But there you go. Welcome back, Camille.
Have your intros been this long since I've been gone? I feel like
no.
Steve was like, nope.
Nope, not even
You're
close.
The distraction, Camille.
All I wanted to say with that was tired, and here we are 20 minutes later into a show talking about sweating in her sleep. My fault, I guess.
You're bad. Your fault. I'm glad you learned your lesson.
But I am back, and I'm really happy to be here with everyone. I've been traveling around. I got to see the Gundam that they took out of Yokohama. Sorry.
Okay.
It moving, and that was a pretty cool thing. But my sleep, like I thought last week I could blame it on the fact that or 2 weeks ago, what is time? Oh, last week, whatever week I got back, I was like, maybe my sleep schedule is messed up and that's why I've been playing Stardew. No, I'm addicted to the game. So that's what I've been doing.
Hell yeah. Well, yesterday was April Fool's Day. I'm glad it's over because it is the worst time, especially if you are covering media, because everyone's just, you don't know what's real. And then some people will be like, I'm just going to put this out because they will think it's not real. Now it's a good time to even test out some things. And, for me, I think the worst one I saw that kind of hurt my dreams and everything was a Dreamcast Mini, because that is something I do actually want.
I saw that too.
And I was like, why would you tease me on this? I don't know. Did you guys
I thought my two favorite that I saw, the one that I was like, I knew was an April Fool's joke, but it was one that I wished it was real, was the Cyberpunk floppy disk of 97,000 floppy disks. I wanted that to be real so bad, just so that someone can actually be able to have it, and I wanted it to be me. And the second one, speaking of what we were just talking about earlier, was the Pokemon Sleep Tournament, where you basically see how good your sleep is for like 8 hours and 30 minutes. I'm like, I would love that. I would just put me in a tournament for sleeping for 8 hours. Great.
That should definitely be a thing. Like, I feel like so many people would just be reporting on it. So much great time to sleeping. As gamers, we get a bad rep for not sleeping.
Right.
Yeah.
This is like,
hey, you sleep
really
for
good.
a very long time?
Me?
Yeah.
If
what's the longest you think you can sleep?
I could definitely sleep through a weekend. I know, swear I could sleep throughout a weekend. I could sleep so long.
Wow.
Corbin literally, like, his schedule was broken, so he stayed up and then went to bed at like 4 p.m. last night and then got up at 10 p.m. or a.m. this morning. So that's like, it's pretty long.
I wish.
I average like maybe 6 hours a night, and I can't, like, if I try to be able to do like longer than like 9, I'm like, my back starts to hurt, and it just like, I need to get out of bed because I've been lying down for so long.
And then you do the turnaround. That's all.
I would do that, but that's what it sort of extends it up to 9. But yeah, like I used to be able to like sleep in a lot, and I used to love it, but now I'm like, no, I'm just sleeping the day away.
6 hours is a good night for me.
Yeah, same.
Really.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, if I can get up, like, if I can go to sleep by around like midnight and wake up around 7 a.m., 7 a.m., that's a good day. That's a good night's sleep.
All right. Anyone else see anything crazy for April Fool's Day? Did anyone see the Virtual Boy Pro, I think it was called?
The IGN one.
Yeah, that was
a good video.
Good. It's pretty good.
That was pretty good. I think that was like the one that I was like, oh, dang it, it's April Fool's. I'm getting off the internet and going to play Stardew. So I didn't actually see a lot of it.
But then there was one that a lot of people like, they would not do this, and of course they did it, and they had wish list Hollow Knight Silksong, and yet specifically on Xbox, because it was on Nintendo Switch and the PSN network as well. I don't know why I said PSN network, and anyway, you know what I mean.
ATM machine.
Yeah, ATM machine, exactly. So, but Xbox, Sarah Bond actually retweeted it and tweeted it again today, just to be like, hey, make sure you do wishlist this game and everything. So it sounds like maybe it is coming soon. Maybe.
I mean, Marcel,
Xbox
you were next to me when we heard some pertinent information about this. I mean,
what?
I'm not gonna kiss and tell, but
you just did.
I didn't tell anything. Marcel was next to me.
All I can confirm is that there was a lot of kissing. That's it.
Yeah, no telling.
Okay.
So, based on that, it didn't surprise me to know that it was coming. Like, you were able to wish list it. I still don't like. Listen, I live off the copium of Silksong. I have been for years. I will continue living off the copium. I just don't see myself playing this game until, at very least, the late fall this year, if that. And
it's got to be fall, or I would say summer or fall, probably like a good.
Even summer just feels so early.
I don't know. I mean, they've been working on it since 2019, or they announced it in 2019. So I don't know. I think it's. I think we might be looking at like one of those. Okay, it's like once the announced date is like trailer whatever is coming out, it's gonna be like soon. And like within like 2-3 months soon.
I agree with that. I think that by the time Team Cherry does show up again, they'll be ready to say, okay, here's the game, and you'll be playing it in a couple months. But
actually, this is probably the only like question for the content creators in the room. So I apologize if you're not a content creator. But anyone get those scam email addresses from people posing as Team Cherry saying, "Hey, you want to be able to review or play play early Hollow Knight Silksong?" Because I've had that twice now, and I'm just like, is this actually a thing or not?
The same thing happened. I got the same. It happened to me with Cyberpunk as well, where people were like, scammers were like, "Hey, sign up for this forum if you want to play Cyberpunk." I was like, "Not a chance." I'm listening to you, but
it was one of the only times that like it looked almost real enough that I was like, what? And then okay, all right. But no, I'm excited for it. I've not played any Hollow Knight games at all, but I'm like I've seen the fervor of it, and I'm just like it looks good from what's just out there, and I would play it.
Hollow Knight to me is a legitimately perfect game. It's a 10 out of 10. I've played it on multiple platforms, which is something I don't do. I don't usually go out to like different platforms, rebuy the same game over and over again, play it to completion, but I have for Hollow Knight. And I personally can't say a bad thing about it. I can't, like, even if I wanted to nitpick that game, I don't know if I could in a biased way. I think it's legitimately great.
So who announces it, or when it comes out? Is it gonna be like a Nintendo thing, or it seems like Xbox is getting a lot of love for it right now? So
it's supposed to be a Game Pass game or a day one Game Pass game, if I'm not mistaken. And that said, I do think that it's gotten so big that Team Cherry could probably just do their own announcement. I don't know if they need an Xbox. It's definitely not a Nintendo Switch announcement anymore, because I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's going to be at a Direct." I think it's way too big for Direct at this point. Not really any PlayStation allegiance there, so I think if anything, maybe Xbox this summer. But even then, I think Team Cherry just comes out and makes their own thing about it.
Because there is an indie event happening next month. I don't know. I don't think they will be a part of that, or if they're going to be like, let's just do it here, because it's not really a well-known event.
It's one of those things where, yes, Team Cherry is independent, but the game itself has risen to like AAA status, where I think you see it anytime there's a showcase. People would come out and they're like, Silksong. You go to like any like live chat for any kind of showcase or Direct, and it's Silksong. So like it just became such a big deal that, again, I just don't think that it's an indie type event anymore. I think it is something like a
AAA or triple I.
Well, sure. I'm just saying like AAA in terms of its scope and anticipation, not its budget or anything like that. Don't know. I just think in terms of its anticipation and its fan fervor has reached and exceeded like AAA status.
Do you think? And I think someone's meowed in agreement with you. But do you think...
That's why I looked. I don't know if it was mine, and I was like, wait.
Do you think that it would actually be great for them to make an appearance at an indie event and reveal Silksong, because they are an indie studio? And I think a lot of people don't realize that. That are, of course we do know because we're in the industry, but people who are just playing, casually and played Hollow Knight, I think it'd actually be a huge service to the indie industry to show up in an indie showcase and have it, and then have like, we're going to be doing a dedicated live on our channels right after this show. I think that's a huge boost for the community that I would love to see.
I would love to see it too, but I don't know if they like I think Steve, you're kind of right. It's like they can kind of almost do it on their own, but if they did show up at a showcase, it's like 50-50 whether they're going to show up at like an Xbox or a PlayStation State of Play, or show up in like an indie game showcase kind of deal, like a Day of the Devs sort of thing. Maybe Day of the Devs. That is probably the biggest one out there that I would say, like, okay, if it launched a Day of the Devs, I'm like, okay, yeah, then that would be the biggest announcement of that showcase. But there could be either or.
I mean, there is an event coming up on April 10th, the III initiative, and it has everyone from Gearbox, Blobfish, Mega Critic, like Tiny Build. Is a dedicated indie show, so this could be something maybe they could just sneak up, be like, hey, they're like the last thing is a 45-minute of just exclusive games and world premieres and demo drops and everything. So maybe it could be at the end of that show, possibly.
Yeah, I think it's also a play of what's going to give them the most eyeballs. Because, again, they are indie, so they're going to want to put out their game in front of the biggest audience, hence why they were at the Xbox showcase in, 2021? Mm-hmm. So I think, again, it's going to be a play of let's go huge into the marketing. Let's make sure everyone knows this game is coming out on, October 22nd or whatever. But it's I think it's going to be more for a service of their own game versus the service to like the indie community. Unfortunately, while I do agree, Camille, I think it would be huge if they came out to like one of those smaller showcases and they're like, this is our last thing. It's Team Cherry here. I think that's kind of antithetical to what the game's ultimate goal is to
That's fair.
drive as much adoption and attraction as Hollow Knight did, which was huge and continues to be huge.
What year did Hollow Knight? It's been quite some time.
I want to say 2016.
Yeah.
This is like Wii U
2017.
Right?
2017, yeah.
Yeah, I think, 2017, there's probably an audience there that didn't actually play Hollow Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, that they're probably going to really speak to. So I could totally see that, Steve. Like, they want those eyeballs. They want the big push alongside a huge showcase. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Another game that came out during April Fools is actually a real game, but it's a perfect game. Is called Content Warning. I don't know if any of you heard about that. It's basically like a Lethal Company, but you're actually content creators. And it was free. It was free yesterday. You had to literally record yourself and try to and survive, and then upload your video, which you can actually save later on to post on social media if you want to as well, and get as many views within the game as well. But it's like Lethal Company plus influencers and everything. But that was free yesterday, and it's like the latest Lethal Company rave of the town right now. So that launched yesterday. It was a real game, unlike Pal World that went for free yesterday, and everyone got rickrolled. So
I did see that. That's funny.
yeah. Topic number 2 is Embracer is done restructuring. No more sales. They're officially, it's over at last.
They're like, stop calling us.
Yes, please stop. Leave us alone. But this picture of this guy right here, outrage Lars. Of course, his name would be Lars, of course. Outrageous and everything. But he said, we're getting approached on a weekly basis by companies that would like to acquire certain assets within the group. And they've been very busy. They've been very clear that there's no more sales because there's a very important part for the group and the show holders. Of course, now it's an important part after they just sold off everything else. They're like, oh, but this group here, they're
fire sale.
Yeah, it's a whole fire sale going on. I mean, how many people got laid off? Yeah, that wasn't a very important part. But now for the show holders, they're going forward with everything. I kind of wish Crystal Dynamics kind of like snuck away from them, though.
I kind of did too. Like when all the studios, when all the other studios are kind of like being sold, like like unsold, whatever, or just going independent. I was like, oh man, I just want like Crystal and Ido. Like Ido's like just get away, get we need Montreal, like we need Embracer out of Montreal. But no, they're still.
I think it's just because they have probably projects at work that Embracer still
probably.
There's a new
piece of.
Yeah, there's a new Tomb Raider game coming out.
Yeah,
that they is showing off a little bit. So, and
they also have who in their studios are working on Lord of the Rings, because they have that license.
I don't know.
Wasn't there like a Amazon?
That was like one of their big acquisitions that they made. Was that they basically bought almost pretty much the entire Lord of the Rings IP.
I thought it was Amazon that was doing it.
Yeah,
was it? Oh,
because I know they're doing. They did
the show,
but no, they're also in part with the new Tomb Raider game.
Yeah.
Okay. I just remember remembering it the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, they bought Lord of the Rings IP.
Yeah.
I was like, but that's all I think we heard about it, and I wasn't sure if that was still on the books or being worked on, or if there was any announcement made on that.
Such a confusing IP. I'm not sure.
I know, because it was like it's for the books, but not the movies, and has nothing to do with the TV show. But also, the TV shows technically has nothing to do with the movies.
Right.
What the heck?
It's a weird sort of like licensing thing at all. I don't know.
So there is an MMO, an open world MMO in the works from Embracer because they bought the rights for this game. They're working on it with Amazon Games. That's all we know. They purchased, they paid close to $400 million.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ. So who do they have left? I mean, they still have Gearbox on their website, but that's not true. So
No.
Well, they do to a degree. There are some projects that are specifically like it's not total Gearbox. There are some things that are still being like owned by Embracer. I think what was it? It wasn't Borderlands, but I think it was no, it might be Borderlands. Actually, I think a portion of Borderlands.
Really?
the Tiny Tina game or something?
So I have it right in front of me. It's Gearbox Publishing San Francisco, which is going to be renamed. They have the publishing rights to the Remnant games, Hyper Light Drifter, Cryptic Studios, and Neverwinter. Yeah, the Neverwinter support studio, Lost Boys Interactive. So
they don't have
Borderlands is sold.
Yeah, because I was like, I can't
okay.
see Gearbox leaving without Borderlands. Like,
No.
Yeah,
that
that's
would
like their
be
number one.
Really weird. But my thing is, so my thing is, it sucks that Gearbox is gone. But from a business standpoint, I think I understand. Tiny Tina didn't really do as well as I think they
The server
hoped.
sucked.
But it's also,
I like that
so
game. I don't know. I enjoy.
I like it. I couldn't play it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Even now, would you go back to it now that you played Baldur's Gate?
I want to go back to it, but now I'm just like, if I stutter in a server like one more time, I would just like delete it again.
Oh, that was the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't ever experience that.
But I think it's also like showing how like, because with the movie coming out this year, like you think they would want to wait on the sale for this movie, but it just shows you how like what's happened in the movie world is so disconnected from like what's happening in the video game world. Because I think like especially how we see with like how Marvel's IP is handled in gaming or DC, right? Like a lot of gamers think, oh well, because these movies, as this game is gonna come out and blah blah blah, and it's like to an extent, like it's still the studio and their ideas as well as what the shareholders think is best. The board thinks is best for the shareholders, right? So it's like that was like very eye-opening. I know you guys probably talked about this last week, but I thought that was eye-opening about the whole sale.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think it's
by the way.
no, yeah, we didn't. Honestly, I think with Embracer, they're only about short-term like goals. Like they don't think about long-term because like you said, like if they were thinking long-term, then they would have probably held on to it because of the Borderlands movie. But they like the shareholders don't care about that. They don't care about, oh, there's a movie coming out, maybe we should hold on to it. They're like, no, we need to sell it. What do we have on the books that we can sell? Gearbox. Yes, let's get rid of that. We could probably, get some short-term money from that. That's all Embracer. Like that's been their strategy the whole time. Is that, oh, hey, games are big now. Let's buy a bunch of studios and make games. And then they realize, oh, making games are hard and it takes a long time. We're stuck. And then I don't even think that there was any any news about what studio or what acquisition they were going to make that was going to bring in $2 billion. The thing that they basically had that shareholders call, and they were so like to tears, the saying that we just lost it. But like that's to me what I think is the reason why they sold is because they sold all the things because they lost on $2 billion and they're like, okay, we need to make that back again. But yeah, they're all short-sighted. Like it's like 100%. So they probably are like once the movie comes out and if it does well, the Embracer shareholders are going to be like, well, why didn't we keep that? Yeah. It's like, well, you didn't say anything.
You're absolutely right. I mean, from the get-go, this entire hoax that Embracer Group was like so set on was all an IP play. It was let's spend a copious amount of money from Offsee's wallets essentially just to get all these second or AA studios, get their IPs, and then just crank games out over and over, and clearly that's not a viable option, especially coming out of the pandemic. But you're totally right, Steve. This selling Gearbox is nothing but a desperate play just to get money today. You can see that just based on the fact that they sold it for $460 million when they bought it for $1.3 billion with a B. So they just went for the quickest dollar that they could just to amass, any kind of revenue just for their shareholders, like you said. The comments made today or this week of like, oh, we're not selling any other studios is just with a huge asterisk of for now until we need more money.
This week we're not selling anymore.
It's funny though thing too, because then it's like what happens to like Montreal, like it's Crystal Dynamics, NES Montreal, like it's like those studios that kind of have these legacy IPs. It's like, what is going to happen to all of that? Sammy, I think you were going to say something. Sorry.
Well, I think it's funny because like that GameIndustry.biz article about the Embracer, like CEO, he was just kind of like, there is a plan, not saying anything like what the plan was. But he's just like, trust us. Like, we know what we're doing. There's a plan. It's just like, okay, buddy, good luck.
It's like he's Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, I've got a plan. I've got 12% of a plan.
Yeah.
And the plan is just for the shareholders, right? The plan is
totally
to see those dollars come in, right? And unfortunately, that's what it all comes down to at the end of the day. And they didn't sell off, I think some people may argue like, well, why didn't they sell off some of their other studios that, haven't really produced games? Well, it's because they're not worth as as Gearbox as it was worth. So,
I'd be willing to bet that they probably were like, they looked at like their studios and were just like, yeah, it's not like no one's gonna be able to buy it for the amount of money that we paid for it. I mean, like even looking at what was it, like I think $1.4 billion was what they bought the Gearbox for, and then they selling it for only $400 million. Like losing $1 billion, that's a lot of money to lose.
That's all it is. It's a desperate act, and I mean, I hope, because Embracer is such a cancer in this industry and has been since the beginning, that I hope more studios are able to go the way of like Saber and just say, hey, listen, we'll give you the money. Get us give us an out of jail free card. We need out. We need to buy our independence and go out and do our own thing, because all these studios, no matter what you look at, Volition, who put out Saints Row, and then it just flopped, and now they're gone. We're never gonna get another Saints Row game because Embracer just screwed that up. And I saw that a mile away, and I called it, and I was like, it's all of them. Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, they're such talented teams now under this toxic umbrella that I just hope that so many can amass the funds just needed to go to them and just say, listen, we're out. We can't do this anymore. It's not working. It's you, not us. Goodbye. And just break up with them.
And the thing is, it's such like, if the economy was at the state it is right now, I would have high hopes for that. But because of how these layoffs, these cost-cutting measures have been plaguing the industry for the past year and a half, it's really hard for any of those studios to get outside investors to say, I'm going to go in on gaming right now when everything's falling apart. And I think for that reason, we really have to look closely in the next few months, year, with these studios that are still under Embracer, because, it's quite obvious Embracer is desperate to cut costs. So at what measures are they going to do that? Are they going to do that where now we are back in this, environment where crunch is seeming like the normal thing to do? Or where there's more layoffs. And I think that is why this whole statement, like even the picture, man, like it just makes me really dislike them even more, just because it looks like I'm the big man on top, in charge of everything, making money. Like, look at this picture.
Like, look at my oak everything I could afford.
It's
everything
like
with my sparkling water and my coffee at my desk. Plus, I look pretty sweet in probably a very expensive suit. Like, it just does it loses all that compassion of like, what does this mean for the industry? Yes, I understand you want to get the message out that like right now we're not planning on cutting costs, but there's nothing that I saw, and I did skim over this, so correct me if I'm wrong, that really focuses on the people, of like maybe a message out there that like we're really trying to move forward by focusing on the people working in the studios that we have, making sure that they are secure and that their projects are successful. So again, I'm so disconnected from Embracer in trying to empathize with them being in negative cash flow.
From what I'd heard from like different sources and stuff like that, just from the industry and from what I've been seeing in different articles, is that like at first, like Embracer was very much like kind of like hands off, like they're the money people, like they basically let the studio run how they want to run, make the things they want to make, and and all they cared about was just the money side. And it just seems that the money side sort of took over, and we're like, well, Kate, fire sale, we got to get out. That just unfortunately, like Embrace, like it's like you mentioned the picture, the picture looks like a chat GPT prompt for like a rich white CEO. Like that is literally what we would get out of that when that prompt goes in. But yeah, they are kind of the epitome of in a sense, like the cancer that is in the industry right now. It's literally it's run by rich old white dudes thinking they can make a quick buck off of video games because they see it making money every single year. And even more so during the pandemic, they were like, we need to get into this now, realizing that no, games actually take a long time to be able to make it good, and the audience can love it or hate it, and you can never predict what's going to be like, other than there are certain signs of success based off of studio reputation or developer's reputation, or just based on marketing, whatever. But there's no guarantee that a game is going to be good. And they were hoping that, they have all these IPs, they have all these, studios that, have a good reputation, but they were like, they don't have the magic formula to be able to make games good. And they realized that, and they're like, oh, well, okay, you know what? We need our money back. So they try to get as much money back as they can, without realizing that they basically just left a giant scar on the industry that probably will be there forever. And because we're losing talented people that are just gonna be like, fuck this, I'm going to some other industry, or we're losing talent left and right. Like they're the epitome of what is wrong with the industry currently. And I don't know when we're gonna get out of it. Hopefully now that they're like, hey, we're kind of done. And, it seems as if it kind of lines up with everyone's like fiscal end of March. Pretty much that's when, everything kind of stopped. So hopefully, we're not going to see any of that for a while. But, there's always stories about layoffs every once in a while. Like even the Gearbox sale, there was layoffs because of just, redundancy. So,
well, due to them, they caught like 1,400 jobs already.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jesus. Just them.
And if it is what you said, Steve, of like what you've heard, is that they were very hands off because there were the money people, I think now, especially for everyone that's working under Embracer, I feel so bad because I'm pretty sure now they have their hands much more on every project because they are trying to make up this negative cash flow. That's going out. So it's not only like the extreme cases of losing jobs or studios closing, it's just like how they work is going to change. And like for studios that have been working as they were for years, for decades, it's like that cannot be the best environment, based on the example how Embracer has failed to really acknowledge the people side of this story, the people that are affected by it. So bad.
Well, it's also, you have to, sorry, Marcel, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say they better keep their hands off my Dead Island 2 series because I really like that series. All right, go ahead,
I don't know, man.
Well, I just going back to your point, Camille, I was just going to say the funniest part of this whole thing of like, whether or not they're hands off or now that, they are overseeing more projects is Embracer just doesn't know how to make games. They've never known how to make games. They have no background in making games. They have money or a background of money. That's about it. So when you look at, what are they going to do to change? There's not really much that they can do other than just hopeful thinking, and that games will start, performing well, or their studios will start performing well. Because other than that, I don't really know what else they can do other than maybe provide more support. It's not like they can walk into.
Not doing that. They're not doing that, right? Like what they're going to do is exactly like, I used to work at a corporate job, and it was, if the shares were down or whatever, it's like then you're getting emails every day of like, oh, this is what we have to do. And the frustration of like, if you are in the position, you've been doing that for decades, someone who doesn't know your job to what you're saying is trying to tell you how to do your job. Like that must be so frustrating. And I think it's like they just need to put trust in these studios and really maybe have a role that someone, a department that's like Embracer proper, that understands the development cycle and has a real history in games rather than money, so that they could speak to these studios to try to help these studios be successful with their launches, right? And like that is something that you're not going to see and then reflect in the next 5 years too, if they were even to implement something like that, because developing games take a long time. So back again to they're just like hysterical decisions of like, oh, got to figure it out. This studio's gone. We got to cut jobs. It's like, it is so bad right now. It's like, it's just a disaster waiting to happen. And this statement doesn't, I don't know if they were expecting it to settle the minds of gamers. I'm pretty sure it was just to settle the people that have been trying to reach out to them to buy different assets. But this does not settle the mind of gamers or the gaming industry at all. I think it just sends it more in a whirlwind of like, we saw all this go down in just a matter of months. Like this could happen any month, and it's scary. Oh man. It just
pisses me off, especially with this picture.
Yeah.
This picture makes me angry.
Yeah, guarantee that picture was sent to them by Embracer. That wasn't like a just a random Google search image like that. Yeah. That whole article seems very much like they're like, as you said, Camille, like they're trying to be able to dissuade, like hey, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Like we're fine, everything's good. Wizard of Oz it, but it's like
everything's fine here. I'm sipping a cappuccino. You know how much these cost? I'm wearing a nice suit. You know how much? Look at my wood panel wall. It's so nice here. Don't worry about the layoffs. We've got tons of money over here. Yeah, we only employ 20 or 12,000 people. We have 100 studios. Everything is okay. All of our dollars are accounted for here. Look at my suit. Don't worry about it. Look at my haircut.
To Lars' defense, like, I don't know Lars, we don't know Lars, like, maybe a good person outside
He's not.
business sense, but maybe, like, I'm just gonna put it out there for his defense to be a little bit,
I'll give you, he might be good to his mom. We'll say maybe settle that. Like,
right?
Like,
he may have a little speck of good, but my thing is here, it's like, dude, like, who put this, like, who put this photo out there? Like, how old
Lars.
is I'm gonna Google
Lars
this
did.
photo.
Lars, it's definitely
Lars did, yeah.
His personal assistant was like, "Hey, we need a picture," and he's there, like, with his tracksuit on. He hasn't changed a date. His hair is disheveled. He's like, "We're in shambles over here." Wait a minute, I've got this photo from 2018 when I was at the top of my game. We were buying studios. I was sitting in front of wood panels. It was looking real good. Send that off.
Yeah.
Even
That's
like in
Lars
the article, like the quote from the article, it is not clear whether this means it's an end to layoffs that have hit Embracer over the past decade. And then GameIndustry.biz has reached out for comment and clarification, but like there's been no comment or clarification.
So with this picture, Games Industry Biz did post an article last year with the same picture. This is the only reputable, like, using Google Lens, the only reputable news sources, or actually any of these links, have only been within the last year and a half when they've done all these layoffs. Like, who gave this picture to?
By the way,
even the name pisses me off. Everything. The whole name.
It's better than his LinkedIn picture. I posted it in the chat.
Oh,
it's
man,
something. It's something. But they do actually have an update or correction on the article. They did say that, this article previously understated the number of studios and employees remaining in Embracer Group. A company spokesperson reached out with updated figures, which are now reflected above. That's what they apparently reached out to, being like, yeah, we might need to make a correction on it. Not anything else, that they said.
Not the layoffs.
Well, the thing is, too, like, this is, like, at the end, putting on my PR lens, right? If you were working for Embracer and you had to do PR, they're trying to make themselves look good for potentially new people that want to invest in their company, right? Like, they have to make it look like they still have something to hold on to. And this still isn't doing it to me.
Nah,
like, they're not even a mention on, like, some of the well-known projects that, like, they're still excited to be working on. Like, what? Like, who does PR well? I will say, for the most part, from what I've seen, the Xbox team. Like, they put out some really good, even when they're going through tough times, like, usually there's a little bit of a positive, what they're looking forward to. There's some detail there. This was, of course, like, another one of those, oh gosh, the phone keeps ringing. Someone just put out a contact games industry biz and let's just do an article, just quickly throw some numbers in there. So disappointed. This whole thing is so
we're just gonna move on because this guy's just making me mad. So
yeah, I'm looking at
way to go, Lars.
Lars.
Wait, are those comic books that he has framed in that background? Like,
that's the Superman
one. Yeah,
Spider-Man.
Well, they own Dark Horse, don't they?
Yes, they do.
They own Dark Horse. Oh man,
comics are gonna go away too.
That's what I mean.
Jeez,
run far away from this man.
Stop.
Hold on, let me see.
Do not let them own any more IP. Please.
No, there's no way that any studio is trusting them. Yeah, there's no way. I don't think that there's a way for Embracer to come back from this, like get to the other side where they're, net positive and then reaffirm their trust with any studio out there. I don't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. Apparently, Dark Horse also went through layoffs too.
No! Not surprised, but geez.
Yeah. It doesn't say. I'm trying to look to see how many. But they were like going through restructuring, and this was apparently as of June of last year. So yeah, gotta love that.
Yeah. Well, for our final topic today, folks, this is another positive note here. Dragon's Dogma, Steve V's favorite game, maybe
right now.
Dragon's Dogma 2's sales have hit 2.5 million. In the last 11 days, will be 12 days when this comes up, but 12 days, we'll say, which is the franchise now has sold over 10 million. Absolutely amazing. Steve, why is this game selling so well? What's going on here?
I honestly think it's just word of mouth at this point.
Is that the fact you can just randomly pick up someone mid-speech and just throw them halfway across the room?
I think, inherently, it's still a great game. I think that there's so much to talk about and unpack within the game itself. Yeah. But I think in terms of its social success and its selling value right now is just the fact that, there's a lot of like memeable moments. There's a lot of like things that you can do to clip out and get people's attention because for 10 years now, Dragon's Dogma has been such a niche IP. It's largely, selling almost 10 million copies over its lifespan. That's not that much considering, what Dragon's Dogma 2 has done in 12 days. But I think now it's kind of just exploded into the mainstream, into the zeitgeist, and a lot more people are attracted to this game. Especially what's incredible is that it launched in such a heavy RPG ecosystem that we're talking about. We were talking about Baldur's Gate, Rebirth, so many other games that kind of also fit this mold. That's Dragon's Dogma 2. So for it to come out and have this much success is astounding. And again, it's just a total compliment to Capcom and their whole renaissance that they've been experiencing for quite some time now. But it is a very big drastic shift of, Dragon's Dogma came out, caught wind of, a lot of people who are Dragon's Dogma fans, but then no one else outside of that bubble really invested into it. So it's really great to see. I'm happy for the team. I think that the game still has some hiccups, some technical things that I'm not 100% sold on. But outside of that, like I am at this point now, I'm so confident that by the end of like this generation going into the next one, we're going to hear about Dragon's Dogma 3, where we've waited 10 years to hear about a Dragon's Dogma 2 and get to this point. I can only see this being like, another tentpole. Yeah, maybe. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think a big DLC might come out or something. Yeah. Something might be announced in September, maybe, or...
Sure. I can just see there now being, Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, and Dragon's Dogma as like the Capcom's big. Yeah. Exactly. Like I think that it's now reached that point where a lot of people are talking about, and I think Capcom will want to massage that and kind of give fans what they want more of. And I think that's content.
Yeah. Is that the game you platted this weekend? I remember seeing a tweet that you...
No, that was Rise of the Ronin. I went super hard on that game. And okay. Your boy has to support Team Ninja out there. I had to put in the work.
Yeah, I've never played Dragon's Dogma. I don't know, it just never appealed to me. And like when I think Dragon's Dogma, I always think Monster Hunter. Like I can't stop making that association. And like if you were to put 2 and 2 or like the 2 head to head, it would be like Monster Hunter for me. But like, I mean, like you're right. I think this is kind of like the upswing of the renaissance that Capcom has been going through. And it's interesting now, like how they're defining their real staples or redefining their real staples.
I think it's because they just throw in what they want. Like they just know, sorry, Steve. I just know they just like what fans really wanted from this series, and they just threw in things that like, oh, this would be fun to have like a whole character creation before the game came out, knowing that's what people are going to be spending their time on the longest, and people were like making absolutely crazy characters. I made my 7 foot tall old lady. She has a little lean, but like she's like a She-Hulk sized lady.
Why?
Because she's a powerful, wise old Blanche. Okay, that's why. All right, that's why. All right, and she kicks ass. She will charge a goblin, just launch them, and then this for the hell of it, she'll be like, "Oh, here's a high five. You did good." I'm like, "What? You just high five me? Like they dab you up a little? Yeah, they'll dab you like, oh, good." I actually left her hanging. I left her hanging for a little bit, and until I went a little bit close, I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, she'll just be like, "I'm not putting my hand down. Better give me a high five right now."
No, don't leave her hanging.
Don't leave her hanging. Want to play for the pawns now.
And that's the thing with this.
You go in. I got Winnie the Pooh out there. I got Winnie the Pooh as my pawn. He's out there kicking ass.
And that's the thing with this game. I'm hearing a lot of people say that, there are quests and everything, but if you just go and explore the world, that's where like the most enjoyment is with this game. Just go about like mid battle. You could like, I was fighting a Cyclops, and you could literally like start climbing him and start just stabbing him in the eye and everything. Like just like it's a lot of like cool mechanics you can do with this game, where you can like grab someone off in the distance and just throw them against someone else if you want to. Like you literally like shock put like someone across the room. Like it's a lot of fun, this game. I can see why. With a lot of the memes, people are like, "Oh, I want to try this and everything," or like you said with the whole character creation, like, "Oh, I just want to make like Winnie the Pooh," like Steve did it and everything. So
I think a lot of it is that there's a story there, there's a whole narrative, a lot of lore and everything. But again, it's the meme quality of the organic storytelling of, hey, I'm going to go out, start exploring this whole world. My stories are going to be totally different from yours, just based on what I experience with the monsters that I fight, what happens. The other day I was going on like this like little like drawbridge kind of thing, and a griffin just comes in, smashes it, and I fall to the ground, and I'm in the middle of this giant boss fight just out of nowhere. Like it's totally random, not scripted at all. It's an emergent event, and it's like this won't happen in your playthrough, but it happened to me, and that's going to be a core memory of mine anytime I think about this game. So it has that quality, almost like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, where it gives you this total. I'm going to, Camille. I'm here as a big fan of both of those games.
I'm dealing with limited time here and a lot of Stardew. Don't compare.
I'm so sorry.
Don't get me in.
But it gives you the sandbox, and you just go out and you experience it.
There's so many good RPGs out right now that I'm just I wish I could be able to get into it. I don't know. Like I saw the trailers for it when it announced, and I was like, okay. You're right. Like I think Camila, you said it right on the head, because it did remind me of like Monster Hunter. I was like, oh, okay, even though I knew it wasn't, but I know it's Capcom, so they make the same game. But it's I don't know. It's like I keep seeing a lot of people play it, but I'm like, after kind of like my playing Rise of the Ronin, I was just kind of like, I don't know, is it even for me? I keep like
I existential crisis.
What games
are for me?
Like that's how I've been feeling about video games lately. I just have I want to jump into new worlds and be excited for them, but I don't know. It's just like I see everyone playing it. I'm like, it just seems like it's just like, okay, is this another game I'm gonna have to spend 60, 70 hours in? Then it's gonna suck up on my life. Like, I don't have time for that.
Are we drained as gamers? You're right, because we had so many great games in the last 2 years, year and a half. It's been crazy. I've been looking forward to playing Rebirth. That's all I could think about before I went on my trip, while I was in Brazil, while I was in Japan, while I was in Hong Kong. And then I got back and started playing Stardew Valley for absolutely no reason. And I'm struggling to put that game down to play Rebirth, although I really want to play Rebirth. And I don't know if it is that I'm just exhausted.
I think it's just
comfort food too.
It's comfort food. Yeah,
true. Yeah.
It's the difference between launching, queuing up a brand new show on Netflix or going back to The Office for the billionth time. It's just I know what I'm going into.
Yep.
I think it just, it's a bit of, I don't know if there's a better word for it, but it is kind of burnt out on games. We just have so many games in our backlog. Sammy, you just finished playing Baldur's Gate 3. And so who has time to jump into all these huge RPGs?
Decision fatigue.
Yeah, we've had 10 or 15 of good ones within the past, since August of last year. That's that's a lot. Yeah. And I'm like, I want to jump in. I want to play because everyone keeps saying that they're really great. But I don't every time I keep thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm going to jump in. But it's all right, I'm got to commit to 50, 60, 70, 100 hours in order for me to be able to jump in. Or otherwise, I feel like it's kind of a waste of my money because I've spent all much money and I'm only going to spend 10 hours in this huge amount of 100-hour plus game. I don't know, it's more of it's a little bit of I don't have time for that, but also it's just a lot. And I feel like that having those games like a Stardew, it's just that comfort food, as you said. It's just, I kind of want to do that. I've been kind of trying to find, okay, what is my comfort food? And I don't even know what my comfort food is. It used to be Destiny, but I haven't played that in a year. Yeah. So I'm kind of that's why I'm maybe jumping into TTRPGs, being okay, it's a different type of game now.
It's so crazy. We're all kind of feeling this. And I think especially because of our work and how we work in the industry, there's a little bit of a pressure to play every single game.
Oh my God, yes.
Newsworthy games in order to keep up with what the industry is talking about. When it's are we just burnt out in the industry? We're just
I think so.
It's just a lot of great long games that just take so much brain power to think about, or decisions where sometimes you just want to play Stardew, or for me, I want to play just a simple baseball game because it's just nonchalant going through the motion game, where I don't have to think as
But
much.
we have a triple release day coming up for freaking, is it April 22nd? There's 3 games coming out. It's
wait,
Princess Peach.
Wait,
that was last month.
That was last month.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
But that's the thing that's been happening.
That's the thing,
There's so much news, so much great games coming out that while I was away, I was really trying to shut off social media, and I'm right now, I've done a pretty good job this year trying to go back on that because it's very toxic on there. But
you don't want to come back.
I was just chiming in and tuning in, especially with our Discord chat, and then I was on my way back when Marvel Rivals was announced. And I skimmed over that news and I thought it was a shadow drop. So then I messaged in the group and I was
that's
hey,
what that was.
So that's what I play tonight when I get back in.
And
it's just because I missed you guys. I wanted to, well, obviously the game looks pretty rad, but I wanted to also just play games with my friends and hang out because it's been so long. Come to realize that that's release date.
Yeah.
It's too much to keep up with, 100%.
And it kind of makes you wonder, because we're content creators in the space, and we play as much as we can, but it makes me kind of wonder, like, the folks who like do this for legitimate, like that's their full-time job, like either at like GameSpot, IGN, or Kind of Funny. Like, I don't know, maybe they're just more resilient than us. But I look at that, I'm like, man, they've been reviewing games nonstop for now, like however many years we've had so many good games out, that I'm just like, how are they still like functioning? Like literally, I'm just like, maybe it's just because I'm older. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at that. Like, I'm just older. I'm like, how?
You are not older. Well, you're older, but you're not old, too old. I'm trying to make
it's fine. I understand. You're fine. You're fine.
But no, I honestly, like, even, working on a full-time news type show, before there was just not that many great
Good games.
that were very really had depth to them and good quality, that like even all of my friends that are working as journalists in the industry, I'm seeing them post and it's like they are very fatigued as well. So it's just like now I just feel like we just whined about working in the industry.
No,
well, I feel like it used to be like maybe 6 games a year that I get like super excited about, and now it's like 6 games a month.
Yeah, I think gamers
really
as a whole may also be fatigued too.
I mean, I think it's like
so many great things.
I think it's like, for those that are listening or watching that are not in the content creator space. Yeah, I could see that people are like, well, you play video games for a living, like shut up. But no, it is a job, and there are days where it's hard, and it's not like, we get to like have fun and talk about video games and play video games all the time. And video games are supposed to be fun, but this is the kind of part of the job where it's just hard. There's just too many games that are out right now that are like we're having to build it, like we have to play because people want our opinions on it, or it's our job or whatever. So I don't know. I think it's fine to like I'm sort of at least a little bit happy that I've kind of had that break for the past month of not really playing a lot of games lately. I think probably the only game I really touched was Belantro and Rise of the Ronin, and that was basically it for the past month of March. But I'm kind of at that point now where it's like, okay, it's been a lot, but I kind of want to maybe jump back in again. Like, I feel like there's a lot of games that I haven't touched that I want to jump in, and it is a little slow at the moment right now. Not a lot of huge releases coming out, at least as far as I know, for the next couple weeks. So except for Tales of Kinzarazao, which I really do want to play, that comes out at the end of the month. But I mean, beyond that, it's just like, okay, and like I just want a breather. That's all I want, like just a breather where I don't have to like feel like I'm like treading water just to keep up. That's all.
No breathers for gamers. That's the motto. There's too many games coming out, and I think the nice thing is that we're at a point now where, I mean, even looking at us, like everyone on this call, is that we all have diverse interests in games. I don't think that there's any formulation here where we have the exact same interests. We're playing the exact same games continuously. So I think that's one of the benefits. Steve, you were talking about like how did these bigger teams like IGN, GameSpot, Kind of Funny, how do they do it? Well, it's like, well, they don't play every single game.
No, it's true.
They collectively play every single game, so that when they all come together each week or whatever, they can kind of just talk about and hit every single game, but it's just, 1 or 2 people hitting those individual games. And I think that's the nice thing, is that there's options out there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say after that, but Sammy, what's going on for the rest of their week?
Just, more game fatigue as I balance playing 3 games at the same time. But that's pretty much it. Might go watch some movies this weekend, try to chill out as
what
much
are you
as
seeing?
possible. I want to do, I don't know yet. I'm looking at a couple. Obviously, well, me and Marcel watched Godzilla versus whatever, King Kong, whatever.
Yeah.
Is it King Kong versus Godzilla? Whichever way it is.
Godzilla
There's no versus cross-con
Yeah.
because they're teaming up this time.
They're
that's true.
They're buddies.
But like, for what it is, it's pretty good. So if you like kaiju movies, go watch it. I'm feeling like a horror, so maybe I'll deep dive to see what's new right now.
There's some
and watch
bad
that.
horror movies that's coming out soon. I'm letting you know right now.
Yeah.
There's I saw 2 ads and they were terrible. They didn't sell me at all on this one.
And I haven't even watched the first Dune, so I need to watch the first Dune and then watch the second Dune.
Absolutely, you do.
I want to go see Dune 2 in theaters because it's like watching it in IMAX the first time was so good, but I just haven't watched the first one in a long time. So I'm like, I want a refresher of that and then go and see Dune 2, but I just haven't, You
don't miss seeing it in IMAX. That was such an experience.
I know it was a great experience watching it the first time. So, I gotta go in. I also wanted to see Ghostbusters too.
That's true.
Too many
First
things.
Omen. That's what it's called, Sammy. The First Omen.
Oh, I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that.
I accidentally saw the trailer for that and turned off.
Accidentally.
It's not good.
Oh no, it's not.
Yeah,
No?
it
doesn't look good at all. I don't know. Like it just looks so cheesy to me.
I don't like scary movies.
I've heard good things about the Sydney Sweeney horror. Immaculate, yeah.
La, 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 la.
I know Monkey Man's one I've been looking at too.
Really good one.
Cannot wait for that.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
There's also a movie next week called Civil War. You might like that one, Sammy.
Holy shit! I can't.
That one looks
Alice
really
Garland
good.
dropping straight fire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all something after we're done recording about that. But yeah, that's what I'll be doing.
Okay. Steve Saylor, let's wrap this up. What's going on?
When this episode drops, come check out. You can watch it twitch.tv/Steve Saylor. I'll be having a watch party for the first episode of Dungeons and Disabled.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long work in the making, but it's the good thing is that they're not. Don't worry if you've never watched a D&D show before, or if you have, and you feel like, oh man, 3, 4, or 5 hours, whatever, is not really my cup of tea. Don't worry, the episode's about an hour and a half long. Not even about an hour 15 minutes. So I kind of purposely kept them short, so you can just come and watch along, and then there'll be like an after show where myself and some of the cast will jump in and talk about the show. So that's probably the main thing. But if you can't catch it live, it'll be going live. It'll be posted on podcast services and on YouTube at like 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So go to dungeonsanddisableds.com to subscribe and check out everything there.
Cool.
Very cool.
Steve V.
I'm going back to Final Fantasy Rebirth, finishing that off because right now it's a countdown to Stellar Blade. I gotta get through Rebirth in the next couple of weeks before Stellar Blade comes out, because then my time is going to be spent over there. It's just, again, too many games. Gotta divest my time when I can. So looking forward to finishing Rebirth.
I learned that in Stellar Blade, hard mode is just basically her half naked, I think, or something like that.
Naked mode, yeah.
Naked mode, because she has no armor on and everything. Yeah. So, and that's hard mode. Because no armor, so.
Yeah. Not to go on a huge tangent, it's just bizarre that so many games have come out this year and no one can be normal about any one of them. Everyone's just having out-of-pocket complaints and opinions on them, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just enjoying games. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but there are too many games. I'm just gonna have fun with them. Yeah. Imagine that.
Imagine having fun.
Crazy.
Camille, how about yourself?
What am I doing? Oh, well, now that I'm back home, I am going to try to get my sleep schedule in check, which may mean I have to stop playing as much Stardew Valley as I have been. I know. I understand I have a problem. But I'm willing to change it. And part of the steps in changing that is starting Rebirth. So I'm finally gonna.
You don't have a problem with playing Stardew. Stardew is just is fun. I understand that. You do not beat yourself up because you like Stardew. Okay.
You don't understand.
You're being an enabler.
Yeah. Next episode we're gonna have a meeting. We're gonna have a meeting next epised. She clearly states she had a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how many hours are you in? Like in total, like old Stardew and new Stardew?
Oh, I have not been counting the hours. That's the problem.
Sounds like addict behavior.
That's the problem. It's just one.
When was the last time you seen your partner?
Oh, it's gone
in the game.
It's gone to the point. So we set up like the TV. Okay, so this is the problem. Okay. Not to go on a tangent, but I am going to. So this is the problem. Firstly, we play usually our consoles in the living room if I don't have to capture anything, work or anything like that. So he's playing Spider-Man now. Although I told him to play Spider-Man when I was playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, because I knew I would need the PlayStation to play Rebirth, which I do need for work, right? But now that I need Rebirth for work, he's deep into Spider-Man too. So we have a little bit of a conflict here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to end up
Sounds like you need a second PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
I know, but I don't
Or maybe
want...
the Pro?
No.
Or the Portal. Oh, no, the Portal wouldn't work.
No, it's not. Because I want to stream Rebirth. So I'm going to actually stream Rebirth starting today when the episode comes out.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I will
Congrats.
be streaming twitch.tv/this is Camco. It's been 4 years since I streamed on my channel.
Hopefully you can be awake for it.
Like riding a bicycle.
I will be awake, but I'm hoping that keeps me accountable with how much time I dedicate to Rebirth. I also have to like really intensely play the story, since I'm also recording episodes of a podcast covering Rebirth. So it's keeping me very accountable. And then the rest of the time I'll be playing Stardew Valley. And then work pops up every once in a while, so doing that.
All right. Well, I'm still in the world of Dragon's Dogma, and I have like a million games to review still, and it's just the whole recording and then the time to edit. I'm like, I want to play this now. I don't want to sit down and go for a walk and everything. Actually get some form of fresh air. But yeah, right now I'm still in what's it called, Dragon Dogma, and also I'm checking out the Horizon series as well. I'm replaying it because I can't remember the story whatsoever. So I have the second game. I'm like, I don't remember what happened. So I'm playing that one as well. So
I love that.
Yeah. So, and I guess that's pretty much it. We'll all see you here next week. Thanks for listening, everyone, and see you next week.